What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Big D Energy right here on the Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neil Rule. That guy all the way over there, that's D-Mac Darren McCarty. You may know him from his Stanley Cup championship days, all 4 of them to be exact. 4. Not 1, not 2, not 3. But 4. Joik Bell will
get that pinky up there.
Joik Bell will join us a little bit later on in the show. Fish is in the bowl, the child of Flint's streets. Of course, he is Art in the production booth as well. Happy to have you all along for the ride. If you're watching on our YouTube channel, certainly you can get involved with the show, as you guys always do. We'll be happy to have you along there. Our social media handles are on for those of you watching on television as well. And if you're listening on the radio, what up, though? 93.5, The Roar, 99.1 FM, and, of course, 94.7 WCSX HD2. Don't forget about the podcast page, too. The Big D Energy podcast page. Subscribe. Latest episodes will go right to your phone. You can listen to them. Is it leisure or leisure?
Leisure. At your leisure.
Because I hear people trying to be funny. They say leisure.
Yeah, well, those people are probably from Northern Michigan, and they're not funny. They just don't know leisure. It's
Why
not
is it
leisure.
automatically got to be about Northern Michigan?
Because it always is
went to
with
school
our...
in Northern Michigan.
Canadian, what if it maybe
I
it's
learned
Canadian?
2 weeks ago that it's leisure, not leisure.
Yeah, Art was the leisure guy.
Yeah, I was a leisure guy.
Did you
Art's
see...
talking about himself, by the way.
Yeah,
He is the
Did you see the
Northern
confidence in how he delivered that, too?
did.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
And he just found out himself.
Yep, that is true.
So
Both things can be true.
Both things can be true. It is, as always, it's a both things can be true day here today. But, I mean, you know we're going to get into the John Gruden stuff. You have to at this point. This story exploded last night as the Monday Night Football game was playing out, which that Monday Night Football game exploded, too. That was a largely unwatchable first half of football. And then everything just blew up after that. And look, Lamar Jackson... Bro, what he did last night, D-Mac, was unbelievable.
Well, we've seen it again. And I said, well, maybe he had a tummy issue like he did when he had to run into the... We've seen him come back and do that second-half performance heroics before. But, I mean, as boring as the first half was, as exciting as the second half, but it makes me think when you look at the lines and you look at the way football plays out, and how many times have we seen it, right, where there's just a mundane first half and you're going, wow, how can they come back? And then boom. Is it adjustments? Is it, that's why I wish Joik was here. Is it the coaching adjustments or the first half game plan to the second half game plan? Can it have that big of a difference for points wise? So I don't know. It's I watched the play. Did you see Lamar run in the second half?
Yes.
Lamar Jackson running in the second half. I thought I was watching Madden. I thought I was watching my stepson play Madden because of the moves he made, out, in, out, in, out. And now he almost got his head taken off. But, oh, my gosh, Neil, did you see that run? And didn't it look like a video game?
No, it did. And I'll tell you what else, too. And we'll break this down a little bit further coming up in just a couple of minutes. But the thing that really stood out to me, he was flicking the ball. I mean, just the arm strength. It's different. As a kid, as my son would say, it hits different, Dad.
It hits different, and looks like Hollywood Brown had the right gloves on last night because he caught everything. And
he had to.
Mark Andrews, the tight end. It goes to show you that's why what made me look and see is I would wish a relationship between our quarterback, Jared Goff, and T.J. Hawkinson can be like a Mark Andrews and Lamar Jackson. And I say that
he just doesn't have that.
But
I mean, that dude's dynamic.
But listen, I say that but find that relationship because you don't think of Lamar Jackson as this great thrower, this great, guy you can throw the ball, but the fact that he's got the security blanket, right? Mahomes has Kelsey, right? Even Garoppolo, who isn't thought of in high regard as a quarterback, has Kittle. So if Goff, and we see more of a relationship as a safety valve, because that's what really got, to me, out of everything last night, it's when he needed it, who'd he go to? Andrews. Boom, tough catch. Even the last touchdown and stuff like this. So what do you say? That's a resilient Baltimore team, but if you're a Baltimore fan, they've had some exciting endings. And I thought for a minute that Indianapolis was going to do to Baltimore what Baltimore did to Detroit.
But they didn't.
But they didn't. At the end of the day,
We have breaking
it's not
news.
what we think; it's what we know.
Yes, we do. I think we're going to the same. I think we're going to the same boat right here. Ian Rappaport has tweeted. Lions center, Pro Bowl center Frank Ragnow will have season-ending toe surgery, cutting short his 2021, but trying to make sure he has full health for 2022. Ragnow recently saw Dr. Robert Anderson to confirm the necessity. He is already on IR, so Frank Ragnow's season is over for the Detroit Lions, and
Everybody hurts.
well, you know what, guys? The hits just keep on coming. How much more can we take, guys?
I mean, honestly, though,
Times.
I don't want to
As
say
much as we have to.
can it get any
And that
worse?
was
But
gonna
at
be
the
the
same
answer.
time, like, what do we have to lose? We're already down the drain anyway. Like, that sucks. That really sucks.
Right.
Praying for Ragnow, and hopefully he'll return fresh in 2022.
Well, that's it. That's the key for all these guys that are getting hurt or being out. Obviously Cephas, who's out for 4 or 6 weeks with shoulder and stuff. The guys are going down, and obviously, unless you're London Fletcher, you're going to get hurt in this league. But it's for 2023, anyways. Where's my flashing? 5
of 34.
So right now, perfect, and we can take as much as you keep digging it. Keep giving it, because I heard an explanation or whatever, questions to answer, and I always say, don't tell, it's not right or wrong, tell me the why. So I understood Dan Campbell's why of different things, thought process. Well, okay, sometimes our whys are wrong, and you have to adjust it. So right now is the perfect time for all this stuff. You're going to find out if you have another guy on the offensive line that you can plug in. You look at guys like Matt Nelson and Jonah Jackson and stuff, like the guys that are getting the opportunity in their young careers. So this is only going to be good, because it's not about now. It's hashtag 223.
Yeah, 2023, baby. That is the story. So, again, the hits just keep on coming for the Detroit Lions. And what are you going to do, man? What are you going to do? I guess Evan Brown would slide in to be the guy. I don't know. No one knows. Do we even know that the Lions had a backup
right?
center?
Because it said Brad Holmes is going to say, okay, I know I needed this more. And at the end of the day, right, whenever it does happen, even if it's next year, when you have guys that are healthy, obviously we don't want this happening. Frank Ragnow is our best player, right, as far as across the league, most respected. So, I mean, it stinks, but now's the time for it to happen. I would hate for this to happen as we were building and we were 4-1 and trying to get going, and then you lose them for the season. So it sucks, but I don't know. I'm looking at the silver lining.
Yeah, absolutely. D-Mac and I will talk some hockey a little bit later on in the show. The NHL season is starting tonight. Certainly it is, and it's a new day for the NHL. D-Mac and I have had this conversation a couple years ago when hockey left the ESPN family of networks. Well, now it's back, and I think some brighter days are ahead. And we already saw it last night, D-Mac. Sidney Crosby being interviewed during the Monday Night Football game. Like the crossover, the ESPN pub machine.
The reach.
The wheels are a-spinning right now, D-Mac. I think you're going to see NHL come back to a little bit more relevancy.
Well, what I like is the fact that they understand where they go ESPN, where there's the staple sports, but they also do TNT. Now, TNT hosts my favorite sport, AEW wrestling.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's one of these things that it's got to facilitate an option to watch it and to listen to it. I love the fact that the TNT's bringing in Wayne Gretzky, and then they bring Paul Bissonnette in, who's a character in himself. But ESPN showing, when you get on Monday Night Football, you never get hockey on Monday Night Football. So I think it's the relationship, and it's just like the reach that it's going to have. And why not? Because I'll tell you this, it's going to be an exciting season to, at least this is what I call a pick your jersey season, right? If you haven't got it already, because you got some young kids on your team. So which jersey you're going to have?
I'm waiting until after the season to get mine, D-Mac. And you know where I'm going.
All right. I know which one you want. You got that 11, I'll sing out. And before we go, actually, before I forget, and I'll re-announce it, but Thursday, Fish and Art are actually going to go down and cover it. I'm doing a bunch of things beforehand, before the game, but I'll be doing game day live. But Tammy just told me that the Woodward Sports Big D, we're going to do a between the first and second period by the live show. We're going to do a meetup. So we'll make sure that everybody's there. I just wanted to say that. So yeah, this is perfect. We'll be able to do this more. That there's hockey games or hopefully football games, whatever. But that's the important part about being Woodward Sports. So I look forward to seeing familiar faces or putting faces to names.
Mike G says in our YouTube chat thread, you get involved as well on our YouTube chat page. We have those firing off all the time. Mike G says Neil got his Zadina jersey all lined up, but I'm not pulling the trigger until I get a 20-goal season. That's the rules.
Fair.
That's the rules, and
that's fair.
I need 5 of those on the power play.
Ooh, okay, well.
You wouldn't. So if he has 20 and does have 5 on the power play, what? You just get the number 11, you don't get Zadina, you get Rule, or what?
No, because I never endorse getting your own name on the back of the jersey.
It's like tattooing your last name on your back.
Like, what if he has...
Now it's different. Like if you're at a concert, I saw somebody do this one time. I was at the Kenny Chesney concert at Ford Field, and someone gave him a Tigers jersey with Chesney on the back. That's different.
Yeah, because he's a superstar.
Yeah, that's different.
Like, but that's the good thing about Smith, though. Like I just need to find like a good Smith player, and then just throw it on. And I'm like, oh yeah, I am him. You know
what's funny? For as common as the last name Smith is, there aren't a ton of great Smiths
48.
throughout history.
You get 48, Giovanni Smith.
That's my guy. See, that's what I was going to say, and D-Mac stole my thunder. What I wanted to ask, though, real quick, guys, before we do head to break, the importance of the ESPN Plus, because with this NHL deal is ESPN Plus, and it enters into markets that normally no one would care to watch, but since it's on the app, talk
about this too, Art, because this brings us together because of the UFC, and because of bringing these, so if UFC is more popular than hockey, would you say, or no?
I would say that yes,
but can we say, okay, but arguably same field, right? Say like out of the 4, 5, 6 major sports, as far as you either, obviously it's a northern sport. And
the lineage between hockey and UFC is connected more than any of the other major foreign UFC.
Right, but so with the ESPN Plus, let me ask you, as Art Smith from The Art of Combat, has that given the UFC ESPN Plus a wider...
Oh, it's huge. It's massive.
So you would expect the same thing.
Well, like tonight, for instance, like Dana White's Contender Series. It's on every Tuesday night. It's the amateurs coming in the rankings. What I would like to see the NHL do is do something similar to Hard Knocks and put it on ESPN Plus, which honestly, I might be thinking ahead of the curve, but they have to do that in 2022. Like you have to. It's a partnership that it's all digital. It's available there. It's similar to like UFC Fight Pass, the ESPN Plus app. If you want to watch the Detroit Red Wings as they're getting ready, to go for another Stanley Cup like the Hard Knocks, they have to do it. That's how you get people invested. So, yeah, I think that the partnership is huge.
This is the avenue to do it.
Yes.
Not only with the ESPN, but the fact that this ESPN Plus put it with the UFC, it brings in the new fandom. So,
absolutely.
Brighter days ahead for the viewing. And it shouldn't be hard to watch a hockey game.
Right.
And it won't be. D. Smitty says Emmett Smith. Yeah, I mean, I guess he's around a top 10 running back.
Yeah, but then you got to wear an Emmett Smith jersey.
Exactly.
You know what? I might actually buy I've never bought a jersey in my life. But the Giovanni Smith, I mean, it's kind of a good player to root for, doing incredible things, So.
Well, hey, if you want to get down on what Giovanni Smith will do,
there you go.
In the game, I got the perfect solution for you. Go to MyBookie.ag. The NHL is back, as we're talking about the lock of the season at MyBookie. So when either team scores in the NHL season opener, you win. It's simple. All you got to do today is head to MyBookie. Select the lock of the season between the Vegas Golden Knights and the Seattle Kraken. And when the lamp lights red, you get the bread. You see what I did there? Last season, the Golden Knights were in the top 3 in goals per game, and Seattle is loaded with speed, so the puck will find the back of the net early and often in this high-octane matchup. You won't find a better bet on opening night, so go to MyBookie right now and start your NHL season off with a win. Don't miss out on winning season. Head to MyBookie.ag. Use the promo code Woodward, and you'll get double your first deposit. That's promo code Woodward, so you can double your funds and double your winnings. Let's revisit this, folks. Get the deposit. Get yourself the NHL lock of the season. We're lining things up. I can't click the button for you. All right, people, I can tell you everything that's going on, but I can't click the button for you. You got to do that. You can bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Got a problem with gambling? Call the Michigan Sports Gambling Helpline at 1-800-270-7117.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
Welcome back. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neil Rule, D-Mac, Darren McCarty in the house. There he is. There's Joik Bell. Contrary to reports in our YouTube chat thread, his Tesla battery did not die. Joik is, in fact, here right now.
Is that what they're saying about me?
They wondered. No, people were just giving theories, Joik. That's all they were saying.
They were worried.
They were worried about your battery.
No, don't worry about the battery. The battery's dead. Very good. The charger works magic.
All right. I like it, Joik. I like it. But welcome into the show for Joik Bell. But Joik, appreciate you joining us here. We got to get into this whole discussion last night during a great Monday Night Football game. The news broke John Gruden had resigned as the Raiders head coach. And look, Joik, I know a lot of people are going to go a lot of different angles with this, and I'm sure the chat threads and the social media will light up here in just a couple of seconds. But I mean, as far as this goes, and just to give everyone the background story, there was an investigation into the culture for the Washington football team, and some emails from John Gruden surfaced, and you can imagine some of the verbiage that was used in those emails. But I mean, Joik, when you break this all down, it's there on the screen. This was probably the only outcome, wasn't it?
It was the only outcome. You have to have this conversation. There was no way Mr. Davis is not going back into the organization, into the facility, and not having this conversation. It's tough to have, and it's tough for him because how do you that happened 10 years ago, but what's done in the dark will always come to the light. My grandma will always tell me that, and so with every decision you make comes with a consequence, and he just paid the consequence for that.
Absolutely, D-Mac.
No, you know what, it is, and I saw, he's sorry for not hurting it, and 10 years people can change and stuff, but again, accountability, and so let this be a lesson that no matter what, and to me, how this, and I don't know, but how it felt it played out, because I was waiting to say, well, why isn't the NFL, like, they haven't said anything. It was like they were putting the pressure on the Raiders where it got to the fact of just leaking stuff out, and to the fact that Gruden said, okay, this is it. But I mean, isn't it ironic? I saw a tweet today that John Gruden trades Khalil Mack, and Khalil Mack is the last game beats John Gruden, and Gruden out. But man, the big thing, Neil, and I know that at the end of the day, that $100 million 10-year
that he's out of now.
He's out of it. That's it. We don't have to talk about it anymore.
Joik, let me ask you a question, man. And I'm curious about this because you can speak to the NFL locker room. You've been in all the different locker rooms, winning teams, losing teams, all of it. You've seen it all. If John Gruden, in his fourth season here for Vegas, had 3 playoff appearances and 3 wins, do you think that the outcome would be different, or do you think that it would still be the same?
You know what? It should be the same, but would it have been? I think it would have been a suspension. It could have been done differently, but I don't like to speak in hypotheticals. I want to speak in the now. And now, I think the decision that was made was the right decision. You gotta, if those are your words, live by your words and deal with the consequences.
Yeah, absolutely. And I knew that these were going to come in. And Lions Detroit 35 says, I didn't see what the email said, but what the heck, I'm so sick of this cancel culture. But, this quote-unquote cancel culture stuff, I would say this, and I got another text here from Pete who, he told me, just send some of those same emails to your HR department and let me know what your HR department says at your job. And, for me, like that's the bottom line to it. I mean, they were sent, dude. I mean, whenever they were sent, and some of the emails go back to 2018. Like, it's not like it's that long ago. I mean, that's the bottom line to me is, okay, everybody that has that energy about that, say that same stuff to your employer and see how it goes for you.
Well, yeah, that's the whole thing. And I guess at the end of the day, it's about, you don't lose respect for a fellow human being. And I get sometimes people get hot or irate or whatever else. But again, I don't think the same John Gruden 10 years ago is the same John Gruden I see now. I think he's mellowed. But it goes to, you absolutely, especially in today's day and age. See, when we grew up, Neil, we didn't have to worry about this because it was face to face. And then if there was an issue, right,
the issue got settled.
That we were going to settle it out, or it was said. There was no emails and text messages and stuff. And I think that a lot of times, as you forget, is that's why it's always, when you hit that message, it's always whatever the cyberspace and crypto and the blockchain, it's out there. And it's proven time and time again that it will come back. So, it's an unfortunate situation that this happens, but it has to be addressed. Now, do I think that the LA, because it's the Las Vegas Raiders, you know what I mean? And things were going downhill, and because of the circus John Gruden brings around it, yeah, this didn't help his cause, as it maybe in another place with another coach with a winning record, where we're saying that we're hearing more of the 10 years ago and he's changed, and to Joink's point, it's a suspension.
Right. And Joink, for me too, I don't think that should go overlooked, because your answer said it all. When I said if he had 3 playoff appearances and a playoff win, the outcome probably would have been different. But with all that being said, though, Joik, for the same time with Davis, the Raiders owner, Mark Davis, this happening did present an opportunity to get out of a $100 million commitment. And the bottom line is, John Gruden, you can like him. You can say, oh, I'm tired of this cancel culture. You can say all that. He wasn't good at his job. Check the numbers. That's not what I think. That's what we know. Yeah. He wasn't a good football coach. And he had an opportunity to get out of that contract, and Joik, he took it.
Yeah, he got out of that thing quick, didn't he? Anyway, to get out of
Didn't Gruden resigning, though, but stepping away?
Speaking of cancel coach, you know what we'll call that if we're playing spades? We'll call it reneging.
Yeah. Euchre.
Yeah, so, that was a get out of jail free card right there.
No, that's what it was, and that opportunity presented itself. I mean, and I heard this talked about too, Joik, and we saw some tweets, and we saw it on the social media. I think too with the Dan Snyder thing, it's really funny to me how you never, the investigation into Dan Snyder and the workplace culture and all that stuff that's gone on there with the Washington football team. Really weird. We don't have any emails about that at all, but the second that somebody gets the opportunity to get out of John Gruden's contract, all of a sudden there's emails everywhere, and all of a sudden they can find everything. And Albert Breer put out the tweet. He said, how quickly the Gruden emails have become public, while all the aspects of the lead investigation into Dan Snyder have remained completely private. Lesson for everyone in the difference between the people who cash the checks and those who write them. And that was a tweet by Albert Breer. And Joik, that's the bottom line in the real world, is it not?
It is. And go back, because they haven't read the emails from John Gruden I don't think all the emails came out. Like, a few quotes came out with, during a lockout. He was very upset with, DeMaurice Smith and a few other people who was calling, was it Michelin lips, the big lips.
Right.
And like a lot of things that, he said he didn't have a lick of racism, but, you can't make those type of remarks and thinking that there's not going to be any backlash. You can't. And so, especially with the temperature of the country right now, you just got to be very conscious. And even though that happened 10 years ago, it's still very relevant today.
Right, absolutely. Joik Bell here joining us remotely on Big D Energy. D-Mac, Darren McCarty in the house, Neil Rule as well. But we're talking about the whole John Gruden situation as he resigned as head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. What do you got, Art?
Can we say something real quick? The chat seems to think they're getting the story confused. They seem to think that Joik is out of the studio because of racism. We're talking about the Raiders situation. There's people in the chat going, Joik's out because of racism? No.
No, listen. Racism is alive and well, but it's not alive and well at Woodward Sports Network. The only person I know in there that doesn't like me is Art. I don't think it's because of my skin. I think it's because of the way I treat him. Art. Hey, Art.
Yes, Joik.
Art. Shut up.
You know what? I can do this, and we can just go. There we go. He's off the show. Oh, look at that. That's so weird. That's so. And look at.
So I really love that background, and you guys, you can see the whole thing, and Neil's not in the middle. When I come back, I think I just need to sit on the couch from here on out because I love that background right there.
Well, hang on.
I'd love it even more if there was another guy up there too. I mean, that would be cool. I still don't see him.
Where's the rough draft? Where's the rough draft for getting me on there, Art?
Don't look at me. Hang on. Let's check in with Joik when he shows up.
I had a marker earlier today, and I was standing up there etching it out, and I got yelled at. So slowly but surely, I can't do it without you in the studio, bro. But Art has something to do with it. I'll get to the bottom of it.
We'll figure it out, Joik.
You know what, man? Art, you're not gonna figure out anything.
No, you're right.
If we didn't have you on the team, I don't know how things would get done around there.
Yeah, thank God he shows up.
You know what? Got your back, bro. You know that.
Yeah. No, but Joik, certainly, man, appreciate you coming on and giving us a perspective of it. I mean, again, not only as the player, as a former player in the NFL as well, but again, coming on and talking about this because it is something that does need to be discussed. Because when I bottom line this in these discussions, Joik, and look, the cancel culture people and the people that sit here and complain about cancel culture and say, well, was it that bad, or that was 10 years ago, or stuff like that, I always head it off with this, Joik. I say, do we treat, across our history in this country, have we treated minorities well? I think we all know the answer to that. Have we treated women well? I think we all know the answer to that. And on and on and on and on. And yes, that stuff plays a part in all this because, Joik, as you said, it is still alive and well. Racism is still alive and well.
It is. And at one point do we say, you know what, that person has changed. Right? Like, at what point do we say, okay, that was a mistake he made 10, 15 years ago, we make him pay for it now. We seen a thing where we talked about Kevin Hart, where his whole life he wanted to host the Oscars. He had an opportunity, or he had an opportunity to go do it. He made some remarks, some homophobic remarks about the LGBTQ community, and it was all in a joke and in the stand up, and when you're doing anything basically goes, and they got offended, and they asked him to apologize or whatever was gonna pull it, and they took it from him, and at what point in time do we say, you know what, that happened, a decade ago, let's move forward. I have nothing against you guys, and regardless of people's intent back then, it can be harmless. But sometimes, like I tell people, you can't tell someone how to feel, right? You can't tell anyone how they should feel. You just hear them out, listen to them, and even though you guys might not see eye to eye, you guys still have that respect factor there. So just going forward, we just got to be very cognizant of people feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mike says on our YouTube chat thread, Art, first they exclude Joik off the mural, then we make Joik broadcast from home. We're denying Joik Bell. But Joik, man, you won't be broken, though, right? You'll continue to show up.
Yeah, I'm going to show up well. Actually, today was my choice to be out of the studio because I didn't like what was going on in the studio. So I had to remove myself because I had my hands on anyone in that booth over there.
He's very self-aware, D-Mac.
I love it. That's what it's all about. You understand the why. No. We need Art right now because we almost figured out how to fly this thing without him, but not yet. We'll get there.
No, it's funny. No. Honestly, I'm actually back home in Ben Harbor and I'm handling business here, so I have to go mobile for today. But you know what? I kind of like being mobile.
Must be nice to have two homes.
No, but Joik, we certainly do appreciate you coming on and giving your thoughts, man. Because like I said, you you walk that walk. You've been in those locker rooms. Certainly do appreciate your perspective as always, man. We'll let you get back to the business,
get
man.
out of here.
D-Mac and I'll take care. We'll hold you down. We'll see you back in tomorrow.
I'm back in the studio tomorrow.
My God.
Pull up on me.
Pull up on me.
Oh, man.
There he is. Joik Bell, everyone. Appreciate you, big bro.
Oh, man.
All right.
Pull up.
Absolutely. Yeah, we got you. We got you, Joik. There's no doubt about it. What if you want to play some fantasy football though, Ark? Who should you pull up on?
You should pull up on Underdog Fantasy. Man, that was a layup. That was good, Neil. Listen, I'm not gonna rip up this one today, Fish, but I gotta say I am using Underdog Fantasy, and I'll tell you why. When you lose 138.74 to 138.34, and you lose by that fraction, especially to Adam, it makes you want to get rid of all of your fantasy and go daily, and that's why you should check out Underdog Fantasy. The NFL season is underway. If your fantasy team sucks, do some daily fantasy. Use that promo code WSN. Deposit $10. You get $10 free, or you could go to UnderdogFantasy.com, the App Store. Again, use the promo code WSN, and you'll get $10 off. Joik, you're still on the chat, but we're good without you. We don't need you anymore, so you can go celebrate your Benton Harbor-ness and have a great day. I just wanted to tell you. Pull up on Benton Harbor, all right? We'll be right back with Neil and D-Mac right here. Big D Energy on the Woodward Sports Network. Pull up on me.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10.5 months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
a graduate
of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech. Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Off and running here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Appreciate Joik Bell jumping on with us. He'll be back in the studio tomorrow. Just kind of recapping the John Gruden discussion. Patrick O'Rourke says, we talk about the racism, but the homophobia, the transphobia, the misogyny are all over those emails as well. And Patrick, exactly. And that goes back to the question that I asked. Do we have we treated minorities well? No. Have we treated the transgender community well? No. I mean, we can go all the way down the list. Women, everybody. And that's just what our track record is. And if you can't look at yourself in the mirror and say, that's the way that it has been, so you can understand why people might be offended. I mean, any reasonable person, I think, should be able to understand that.
Absolutely, because the compassion for fellow human beings,
that's it.
A lot of times, to me, you see a lot of times, I don't know if for lack of a better term, a power play or position of power or something like that, where you feel, you feel like you're allowed. You know what I mean?
Right.
What's the word? We always say it about the kids that these days, that entitlement, right? It's sort of an entitlement thing, and it's got, sort of changed, because in a position like that, you can't be doing things like that. How many times we sitting on here talking about somebody, Urban Meyer, being an NFL coach? Well, obviously, it's, with what he's done too. These are all things that aren't acceptable, in society, being the head coach or whatever, not being a person of a position of power, right? That's what we're looking to, and it's just unacceptable because you can't treat people that way.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line through all this, and the one constant I have, and the thing I want on my headstone, other than both things can be true, here lies Neil Rule. Both things can be true, and don't be, this is a hockey term I'm using, don't be a deek.
Don't be a deek?
Yeah, but I mean,
that's it.
I'm meaning it the other way. You know what I'm saying? Like, how hard is it to just be nice?
Well,
just be nice.
Didn't a lot of us grow up with treat people the way you want to be treated? Like that
exactly.
Sort of adage. So, and you know what? Albert Breer has something there with his quote about, you look at different strokes for different folks, for different reasons and motivations about why it comes out. So, the end of the day, what does Proby say?
Thank you. The world would be a better place if everyone swept their own doorstep.
Yeah, so in saying that means take care of your own house.
That's right.
Take care of your mirror.
Worry
care
about
of the
yourself.
person that you are, and don't worry about everybody else. So
right.
the thing is, when it comes up, but it's always why, right? This is the way it always comes out, Neil, right? Is this the why? And the financial motivation to get out of the $100 million deal because.
And don't think that didn't play
that
a
played
part in this
huge
somewhere.
into it. The same thing as like we're talking about. That throws it off, throws my vulnerable truth and integrity off because we're still talking about the Washington football team and Dan Snyder and all the stuff that he's done behind the scenes, but he's the guy signing the checks. So different rules, right? Different rules depending on how many zeros behind your name and who's paying you those zeros, right? It doesn't matter you're getting $100 million, but who are you getting it from because there's obviously the power if you're not at the top. So, again, accountability, and whatever Joik said, Grammy Whammy taught him is that it'll always come out in the end.
No, it always will, and it always has, and that's the way it has been. But one of the things that was last night, Lamar Jackson was incredible. 504 total yards, 4 touchdowns. They were dead. Baltimore was dead in the water in that game, and Lamar Jackson put them on his back and brought them back, and they got the win in overtime. Now, Rodrigo Blankenship helped the cause by missing a field goal late that could have won the game, but in the end, the Ravens got the win. And I've been inundated with this, just watching the highlight shows and looking at social media. And for those of you on the YouTube channel right now, we're taking a look back at some of the moments last night that Lamar Jackson was dominant in that football game. And I know that there's recency bias, and I know that when we have a game that we had last night, everybody's going to take right to Twitter and just fire off their thoughts and everything like that. But I was on the treadmill this morning, Planet Fitness. My people over there on Maple Road. Yeah,
you spin goblin, you.
What up, though, to everyone over at Planet Fitness in Troy that's watching right now? You guys are my people over there. But they got me really thinking about this from what I saw on social media, because is Lamar Jackson the MVP right now? And this is open to interpretation, right? Because some people say the MVP is the best player. Some people say the MVP is the most important player to their team. And in the NFL, certainly the quarterback is your most important player. If you don't have one, you can't win. That's just been proven time and time and time and time again. But I mean, if you look at what he is to that team and what he does on the football field, and now, if you guys look at last night, too, in the history of the NFL, Lamar Jackson now has the highest completion percentage in a game with a minimum of 40 pass attempts ever. You figure that would be a Peyton Manning. I'm a big Kurt Warner guy. Kurt Warner never gets the praise that he should along
Drew
the
Brees,
annals.
a guy that
Drew
just
Brees,
completes.
high completion guy. Not any of those guys. It's Lamar Jackson. And that blows up the narrative, man, about him.
That to his regard, because automatically you think running. I mentioned earlier about him looking like Madden 22 out there, video game running through the offense. But like you said, we don't think that, Neil. We know that. And for him to do that shows you maybe more so that he's a better thrower or he's got better acumen. But it goes back to coaching. It goes back to the system. It goes back to when he was drafted. They took him, and John Harbaugh said, he's not coming into our system. We're building a system around him. And I think in times like that, we saw it here at Ford Field, that he's explosive. He could be, and we always think of Patrick Mahomes, but right now, obviously that case, he's going through some struggles, but Lamar Jackson has that explosiveness because he's got the arm strength, and it's just about when he sees the field, when he's smart, when he's looking guys off, when Hollywood Brown is catching the ball, when he's got guys making catches. We forget that about here. Could have 3 more scores. So I think more so, and the best thing, on the big stage, in front of everybody, bright lights when it happens, Monday Night Football. And my hat was off to him last night, and I think that he should be viewed more as an all-around, and he's got to be up there in that conversation. But he would be in the conversation of a definitely most valuable guy to his team.
I just want to ask you, I want to make sure that I'm getting this correct. You, in your opinion, Neil, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm doing a million things at once, I was trying to listen. Would you put him above someone like Josh Allen as the MVP?
I think that is a dead heat race
really?
Right now.
That close?
Yeah, I mean, well, see, we're in a very recency bias
That's what I was just gonna say.
thing.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about as recent as Sunday night to Monday
night. Right. Yeah.
And, Josh Allen just took apart the Chiefs defense. And granted, that has proved not to be that difficult
But
to do.
I think, honestly, beating the Chiefs, the former Super Bowl contenders, as opposed to beating the Colts. Now, are you basing it off of just this last night's game or overall?
No, because, just the dual threat that he is.
Colts defense is better than the friggin' KC defense.
Oh, no doubt.
Right?
No
So
doubt.
that's what I'm saying. So Lamar
Lions defense is
Jackson,
better.
feet first, 75 to, what'd you say?
The Lions defense is better than the Chiefs defense.
Oh, absolutely. And that's something to hang and the effort. And that's, that's the one thing. But I think that what it is, to your point, is that Lamar Jackson's performance last night reinvigorated. Oh, man, wait, is there something extra to this guy? Because what it was, and again, second half. Right? Not the whole game, but to be able to do it in the second half. So whether it's adjustments, but the confidence, and just when he's under control and it looks like he looks guys off like he is Peyton Manning, how do you stop that?
Right, absolutely. And I knew this was coming too. And Pat Riley on our YouTube chat thread says the Ravens have won championships, just not with Lamar. So he's saying you need a great quarterback to win it all. Explain the Ravens' 2 Super Bowl wins. Okay. One of the most dominant defenses in the history of the National Football. They always pick the outliers, right? Like everyone's going to. I knew that somebody was going to go with and somebody will say like the Brad Johnson, Tampa Bay Bucks and stuff like that. Again,
Johnson and Dilfer, right?
Yeah, the great defenses, some of the historically great defenses. So, and that's fine. I knew somebody was going to go with that, and that's
but
on
is
me.
Lamar
'cause I didn't
Jackson
qualify.
a better quarterback today than he was last year?
He was last night.
That's what I'm saying.
He certainly was last night.
It's more we see him more of the inconsistency, but the flashes of brilliance and his high point and his high ceiling point is insane. He ran for 200 yards or 150 yards. Just say he made 40 completions or most completed passes.
That's the thing. He has shown, and I don't care who you are. Like if you're a Lamar guy, you're not a Lamar guy. You can't say that he hasn't shown improvement. You can't say that he hasn't shown improvement.
Well, you know what? I dare somebody to do it, and I dare him to do it now, especially when it's Coast Portland time. Yes, you too can have a wonderful, beautiful machete. Go to coastportland.com, WSN20, where you can get machete, knives, lamps, lights, cups, whatever you need for your outdoorsmen, do-it-yourselfers, first responders, whatever else. CoastPortland.com, WSN20, 20% off. Go there now. This stuff is awesome and durable, and I know a lot of you guys out there who are doing our hashtag How We Coast program. We're not doing it anymore, but Coast is looking for great ways, and we'll tell you soon. But until then, go to CoastPortland.com, WSN20. Tell them Big T Energy sent you. Woodward Sports Network. Neil, Rule, Darren McCarty. Be right back.
Do you know why realtors love using Hall Financial as a lender? Because of our commitment to speed and service. We have nearly 4,000 five-star reviews already. Call today, 248-308-5000, or go to callhallfirst.com.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Back at it here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neil Rule. D-Mac in the house as well. We heard from Joik Bell earlier. He'll be back in studio tomorrow. The YouTube chat thread. I'll lighten up as it always does. Justin Spiro says the Dilfer example is terrible. Even aside from the defense, the league is entirely different. Throwing is up like 50% from the year 2000. I mean, that's exactly what it is. Exactly what it is. And, Lions Rumble says one game and he's an MVP. LOL. He's got the laughing emojis. And I say that because, again, there are a segment of people out there that say the MVP is the guy that is the quote-unquote best player or the most valuable to his football team. And I will say this. Mark Andrews is another guy that no one ever talks about. Mark Andrews is on 1 and 1A with Travis Kelce, in my mind.
Well, here's the whole thing, right? You go Kittle, you have Kelce, Kittle, but Andrews is always up there. You got Waller, right? Obviously, we want
Andrews is as good as any of those guys you just mentioned.
But this Mark Andrews is durable and as sturdy as the catches that he makes, the how he plays. Like I said, he's a unsung hero. To have a relationship, it seems that, to Justin Spiro's point about how the game's changed and 50% more passing or stuff like this, that Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski proved that is a Super Bowl winning combination when you have love between your quarterback and your tight end to no matter what. That's proven throughout. So that's something for us in this 5 of 34 to look to see if we can have that with our guys. But also, too, I think that see, here's the thing. Mark Andrews is always up there in polls, and so viewed by the people that know, they know. They know. Right? It's just that's something that, and anybody out there on the chat thread who's got him in their fantasy team,
congratulations.
Know, right? So
you won that week.
But he's one of those guys that flies under the radar that you don't think about.
No one ever does. And no one ever does. And he's great.
And this isn't a guy that's been in the league 2-3 years. He's been in the league 10 years, hasn't he?
It's crazy, man. It is crazy. Our guy Chuck says, fair to say he's the best pro run-pass combo quarterback. I trust him in the pocket more than I ever trusted Mike Vick. D says, Ravens' best quarterback by far has been Flacco. I need to see Lamar make some strides in the playoffs. And D, you're right. And I'm with you. Again, both things can be true. He's a great player. But you are right. Because the playoffs define your legacy.
Right, but
they do.
Isn't this part of the growth of a young quarterback as Lamar?
I know, but he's had a couple cracks at it now.
I understand.
He's on the clock.
I'm sorry. I'm glad that the first few cracks that you're only not allowed 2 cracks at it. Because if I was only allowed 2 cracks at it, I probably wouldn't have got there. And then you end up. But it's the resilient. But that's what I'm seeing. So what I didn't see before is the evolution of him as a complete quarterback. You're telling me when he's making over 40 completions, and we're talking about his arm, not his running or his legs. Well, that tells me that, okay, maybe now. Because it can always be now. Guys, just because you haven't done it before, if you keep trying, you keep trying to go through, trying to get there, you can get there. And that's what it seems like Lamar is. But to your point, it's what we think, not what we know. What we know is Flacco got it done.
Emerald Eye says, I have Andrews and Jackson on my fantasy team and absolutely shredded my opponent last night. Now, usually I steer clear of the fantasy stories, but if you had those two on your team, then yeah, you deserve some props, and you got the win. I don't care what happened. I don't care who you win against.
Well, you remember how we used to say that, you wanted the quarterback, that I always used to go Peyton Manning and then Marvin Harrison, you want the quarterback receiver. You want the quarterback tight end now.
Right.
That's where it's at. I believe in fantasy.
And we're going to touch on Lions here in just a second, but Drummer Boy 33 says Lamar Jackson has subpar receiving core, so what he's been able to do with those receivers is even more impressive. And that's a different part of the narrative, because if you go back to that Lions game, if Hollywood Brown holds on to those 2 touchdowns, passes, they blow the Lions out in that game.
Yes.
They do. And, he gets those passing touchdowns, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But if you're late to the show, and I saw some people are, like in our chat thread that's going on our YouTube page, Frank Ragnow, it has been reported Frank Ragnow will miss the entire season, toe surgery for him. So this Detroit Lions team will get ready to square up with the Cincinnati Bengals at Ford Field. Last I looked, Bengals were a 3-point favorite in that game. And on Friday, we'll have our Hometown Heroes Friday as well. Been going back and forth with our guy, Ronnie Cyrus. We're getting that lined up to be in studio, too. So we'll have that discussion on Friday. But D-Mac, again, Cincinnati Bengals in town. So probably no Taylor Decker. Definitely no Frank Ragnow. Penei Sewell, which we'll talk about a little bit later in the show. Getting an NFL education on Sunday. 5 of 34, right?
It is what it is. It is what it is. And I think some people either, look like we were going to have a better outcome in Chicago, but also, too, look to this game as being the first win. So, I mean, the compete level is going to be there. It's the execution that has to go, and guys get an opportunity to step up. So, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It's pretty much here we go again. But, this team's going to compete. So, I would expect them to be in the game. And it looks like the Vegas line thinks it's gonna be a game too, right? So because of the
they got Joe Burrow questions too. He caught one in the throat, or on Goodfellas they would say in the throat. They caught one. Joe Burrow caught one. Yeah. So Ian Rappaport talked about the fact he visited a local hospital after the game. A potential throat contusion, checked out fine, should be okay. Was released from the hospital later on that night. But with all that being said, he's banged up a little bit, but still, I mean, D-Mac, I just wonder how much more can you take? And I'll ask Joik this tomorrow. And look, I know you guys, and D-Mac, look, you guys see this, and you've watched the show now. We've been together a couple of months, and the audience out there, you people on the YouTube chat thread, everything, you hear me do this repeatedly because, yes, these guys are athletes, but they're people too, D-Mac. And I'll ask you again, how much more can you take? How much more can you take, D-Mac?
Well, you got no choice, right? I mean, and like what? I mean, as a fan or as a player, whatever, when you buy into it, and when you hear the coach or when you talk about why it didn't work in execution, and, I was listening to Coach Campbell talk about, why they rushed 3 and whatever. And the bottom line is that I had the explanation. And what he said is whoever the guy underneath, they had the right coverage, but he bit the cheese, right? The cheese route underneath, and he let Thielen go over. So to me, when you're going in there and breaking down film and you're showing guys who you might not know who they are, you might not be expected, but when you show you're in the game, and if you change these little plays because your effort's there, now it's your execution, right? That you win the game, then stuff like that. They're looking to shock the world. Why not be the team that's not expected to do anything, right? So I think that the biggest thing, Neil, is big picture. When they see what they're working towards, and they see that, I would go in there and look at right now going, man, this is awesome. Like it sucks guys are down, but guys are going to be back. But in the meantime, what can we do here? Can I make a spark? Can I be a guy that can make a name for himself, right? So why can't a guy we don't know about make some sort of an impact and become a name? This is.
Do you want me to tell you the fan response to that
talent.
one?
That's what you're saying.
That's exactly where I was going to go.
So I want to see, right? Because at the end of the day, when you're looking at everybody that's come through and you've given them a certified look, so to speak, and they can't do it, that's also a victory because you're ahead of knowing what you have. Right? We're going to talk about the Red Wings. And
I get what you're saying. You're saying you find out a guy can't play.
Right. That's instead of keep invested into it because he's got a first round or a second round or whatever. Some of these late round guys, you see what they're made of, and this is how you get your culture and your core. You can't worry about the talent. Like, the talent's going to come, and that's from your GM, and that's from trades. But what it is this is where we're at. Now, do you want to be part of history of being the foundation to build this? Because it's in Detroit also where there's nothing.
Right.
So make a difference. Be a difference. Right? So, I mean, here's a perfect opportunity. I mean, you're either in or you're in the way, but step it up. I mean, like that's all it is. And get out there and be proud to have an opportunity. Right? Because then if you don't succeed, at least you don't say you didn't get that opportunity. So, I mean, like, and if the way that they play it, like they have this bond together, that's how you get away from it. If you say that there's a commitment inside that Ford Field that we're hearing, right, to the belief that it's a big project. So right now with injuries, and they could say with injuries, but in that going, hey, let's go out and win a game. Right? Let's go win a game. It's a different situation. We're going to talk next hour a little bit about the Wings, but the Wings are in a little bit different situation because you don't, unfortunately, great guy and everything, but you don't sign a Bobby Ryan who's a Phil guy who's not going to be here because you need to educate the young guys. This means that the younger guys are ready earlier.
Or that they're not ready and they won't be ready. Either way. And both are positive outcomes when you break it down.
But here's the thing. If they didn't deserve the opportunity to jump in the fire, then they wouldn't have had the opportunity, right? Bobby Ryan would be signed here if the Lucas Raymond and the other guys couldn't play, right? So there's a lot of different things. It's all, it's all about attitude. You get the attitude right first because it doesn't matter if we win a game. We don't need to win a game, but we got to build. And we got to see all this. So, I mean, again, I'm excited to see Joe Burrow live, but also excited, to see what this team has and what do we have? He sucks. He's not going to be here. Wait, is there something there with this guy? Wait, his IQ, man, we got to give him more reps.
All I'm seeing and thinking about is lunch. That's all I'm doing.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're normal, like me. Because it's getting to be lunchtime.
It is.
And let me tell you what you should do if you're thinking the same thing right now. Guys, Papa Romano's has a pizza that's pleased to meet you, if you know what I mean. Pepperoni, ham, Italian sausage, ground beef, bacon. Did I leave any out? Nope. I think we got them all covered. Topped with a blend of fresh cheeses. It's the Pizza Pizza at Papa Romano's. You can get a large pizza pizza for just $16.99. If you're not feeling the pizza today, that's cool. Papa Romano's got you covered on that as well. Get a Caesar salad. That's probably how I would roll if I were feeling the salad. Sandwiches, everything, the subs, the pitas, all that stuff, the wings. You can get it all at Papa Romano's. You guys can all get together. Go to paparomanos.com. Load up that order for the entire office. Everybody will get back to work for the afternoon happy, not hungry anymore, because you dominated lunch with Papa Romano's Pizza. Go to paparomanos.com.
Tony is a third-generation logger that has a simple, practical approach to life and work. That's why his Coast DX342 knife is perfect for him. The stainless steel blade is rust-resistant and made for all-weather use. And the double roll-lock safety ensures that it will never inadvertently close when he doesn't want it to. That's why Coast is trusted tough.
Moving towards that second hour of the show, Big D Energy, right here on the Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neil Rule. That guy over there is Darren McCarty. We heard from Joik Bell earlier. He'll be back in studio tomorrow. Happy to have you all along for the ride. But in case you don't know, the NHL season, they dropped the puck.
We need a horn, Fish. We need a horn.
We need
a
horn.
Get us a horn,
Fish.
We need more than one. Come on. No, that's baseball, Fish.
Fish struggling. Fish, I'll tell you what.
More of a that's an air horn. That's not.
We need a buzzer.
Give us a buzzer. Horn.
Yeah, we're.
There's like 800 things to look through.
Give
here.
us a buzzer.
I'm looking for a buzzer.
Or at least the organ, the goal organ.
Something. Come on, Fish.
Or burn.
Show us at one.
I know show us at one. Is that your buzzer?
That's like an incorrect buzzer.
That's like when the period's over in a minor league hockey
that's
game.
the Family Feud buzzer. All right, we'll work on a buzzer first.
All right, well, that really drove.
I'm looking all over the place. There's like 79 here. Should I show you this board?
No, it's okay.
There's like 79 different sections.
Well,
that
you got some homework to do, Fish.
Thanks for taking the segment and just driving it right into the ground. Don't worry, though. I'm a professional. I'll recover it.
Thanks, Fish.
Yeah, absolutely. No, but
that's
NHL
what
hockey.
I try to do.
Wait, that's a great segue from Lions football into Red Wings hockey.
No, but the NHL season is starting tonight. Tampa Bay will host Pittsburgh, the Sidney Crosby-less Pittsburgh Penguins, the Evgeny Malkin-less Pittsburgh Penguins. So a lot of the shine is off that one as far as the Penguins are concerned. And then at night, the Seattle Kraken will play their first regular season game. They'll be at Las Vegas.
They are going to release the Kraken tonight.
Yep. So,
and you brought up a point, right?
Yeah.
Which I don't know because the NHL does things goofy sometimes because they're playing in Vegas, right?
They are. Why aren't they playing in Seattle? Why? If you're the NHL, why isn't Seattle playing the first game of the season at home?
Why?
Against Las Vegas? Why? Why are you not doing that? Because for me, and D-Mac, you tell me.
Because you're Gary Bettman. Who knows, right? Maybe because it was raining up in Seattle, and it's October, and they wanted to make sure that they had a surprise party down south. But no, it'll be interesting. I love the Kraken jerseys. Hockey season doesn't seem to be real, but the big thing is down here, LCA. There's going to be ups and downs when you're putting pieces together. There's casualties. You look at when we were building our championship teams since between 93 and 97. So, it's unfortunate. I know, and it's tough because when you have an emotional connection, but to a guy like Bobby Ryan, but to me, this is a blessing because it means some of the younger kids are ready to play. You got a 19-year-old and Lucas Raymond who has really earned a spot, right? It wasn't giving it to him, but earned it. And the one thing that is the most impressive, and it's not only because when I asked Chris Draper when we talked and said, well, give me things about, Raymond, he said his hockey IQ and his hockey sense. And that's the number one thing is for all of us, our championship teams, the hockey IQ in the locker room. Yeah, I'm a lot of things, but I got a lot of good hockey IQ, and even Scotty Bowman knows that. So that's where this kid comes in, and it can help in different ways. We've seen him produce, not only on the power play, but also produce and play a good two-way game. Now, he's got to get bigger, get stronger, but I'm real excited to see him play because, you know what, Neil? Because he could have a huge influence on your guy also, too. Now, I wouldn't be saying that, and when I say Neil's guy, just always remember, Neil's guy's number 11.
See, but D-Mac, here's the thing for me. I don't want it qualified. I don't want him dependent. I was told it's a blessing
not
he
dependent,
fell.
But if you're a shooter, hey, but what do you mean dependent? You want him dependent. You want him dependent on a guy that's going to get him the puck if he's your shooter on the power play.
Sure, no doubt.
Dependent to the fact that a guy that can get him the puck, right-handed shot, back and across his crease, that they both do shoot right. They complement each other. Yes, you want a guy dependent on guys getting him the puck. Lucas Raymond is one guy that can get him the puck, especially on the power play, right and left-handed shots, both letting her go. Obviously, Dylan Larkin, stuff like this. Guys like, see, Pav didn't need help. Pav could just embarrass you by himself, right? Where you needed Pav and you just get open. Well, that's what Zadina, not so much Raymond, but they need guys to set them up. That's why the Fabries, that's why the Bertuzzis, that's why this young, the speed is the most important. Getting back to Bobby Ryan, he's, from a guy who skating isn't the greatest asset. This is a skating game right now, and you look at the guys in the lineup, and you look at who the guys of Detroit has kept and who wasn't going to be kept. You look at a Joe Veleno, who he's going to be up and down this year, and you look at my guy, who's Art's younger brother, Giovanni Smith, who's injured, and Rasmussen. These are the big guys that you need, as you see on your fourth line, that can play minutes, play power play, but be those big guys. So when you see these things happening, even though they're disappointing, this lets you know it's only because these kids are pushing their way in, and you'll find out, right, if they're going to play or not. So, I mean, it's bottom line, guys, no matter what we talk about, it's hashtag wiser plan, And the one thing, the big thing, right, is scoring goals. This team has a hard time scoring goals, right? So that's why I'm telling you, and I'm going to focus it on a little bit more on what this power play has looked like in the preseason, but why it can be such an effective tool, and why great teams like championship teams like Tampa Bay have their power play is such an asset, right, to score goals with the talent. So, I mean, it's an exciting time. Now, starts off in net. We don't know whether, during the preseason, the goaltending was suspect at times and it was great at times, but it's got to start with Thomas Greiss and Nedeljkovic in net. And if they play well as a tandem, if one of them plays well, and takes over more of the ice, that's a good sign for this team. So there's so many things to watch. I mean, you got Nick Leddy and Moritz Seider. We'll talk about Seider, but why? It's the size. It's the smarts. It's the fact that I think that this might be the COVID year with the way everybody ended up playing over in Sweden. Everybody played wherever they did, might be the biggest blessing in the next few years for this Red Wing team because of the young guys and because of the maturity that they got when other people didn't. Does that make sense?
No, it does, and I'm a big Nick Leddy guy because his contract's over after this year.
Well,
and $7 million come
Mark
off the books.
Stahl, another guy. These like a Nick Leddy, right, and a Mark Stahl, and not to the pedigree, but it's like a Paul Coffey, right? Like without Paul Coffey, like that, and Dino Ciccarelli, buffers in the dressing room between, even though they weren't here for the championship, but they taught. Paul Coffey, you didn't think sit beside Nick Lidstrom for 4 or 5 years. Like that different elements of that. When you have a Nick Leddy in the room that has been around, that is respected, that can still play, right? And a Mark Stahl, these are the buffer guys, right? So you have your buffer guys, and unfortunately fortunately, look at it as a positive, that you don't need the buffer guy as in a Bobby Ryan in the forwards.
And there's a lot of talk about Lucas Raymond in the YouTube chat thread right now. And people are fired up for Lucas Raymond. I think that's an understatement. Tammy Chin says Raymond's the first 19-year-old to make the team since Dylan Larkin. And Predator Kingdom, I'm excited to see Lucas Raymond. Klompsaw says Raymond's going to get 40 this year. So, I mean, the people are fired up. But here's my question to you, D-Mac.
Go in there with Art and his 10-7 limo?
Yeah, 40's a little crazy.
Here's my question to you, D-Mac, because I look at this in, just kind of perusing all the depth charts and everything like that. They have Lucas Raymond on that first line. Okay. A lot of these places do with Larkin and Bertuzzi. See, I was told that was Zadina's spot. See, like my hope for Zadina, again, because
but you need who do they got Zadina with?
They got him with Suter and Fabry.
Okay, but you know why? Because that's Verana's guy. So you don't want to, right? And this is where it starts, and it can always mix. But this Zadina Verana is the tag team, just like they want Raymond and Larkin to be. Right, so I'm sure that the top six or whatever, there'll be some interchange. It depend on when guys get healthy. But you know what? This is Pius Suter's a great player to get the puck and to work hard. And Zadina works hard. I like that. I like the offensive, the way that they're put. I think you put Zadina on the top line with a 19-year-old and with Larkin. There's three guys with too much pressure on themselves. Bertuzzi's going to keep the dust up. They're going to allow Raymond to play. Larkin's skating well. I like what they're doing, and it can always be changed.
A couple weeks ago, though, D-Mac, and because I brought it up on the show, I was told Zadina's a first liner.
You could score 20 goals on the second line.
I was told he was a first. I was told he was going to be number one power play line.
By who?
That's what I was reading. That's what I've been reading from all the outlets.
Well, things change as you go because it's a process.
But why do they change?
Because he's got to prove himself.
Right.
Why is it changed? Because Raymond changed the thing, being a right shot, left shot, because of the future, because of what it is.
If you're
putting stock in the fact of what somebody on the computer puts on the line for where somebody goes, be happy. Come to me after, and it's not October 30th yet, but come to me after with ice time. Don't come to me with what line he's on. Come to me with ice time.
That.
Then we have an argument.
But you know as well as I do, D-Mac.
No, I don't know. I know
who you're with.
Tom Asway's the only person smarter than me in hockey.
And look at. It's almost like he knew. Look at out there.
Hey, D-Mac, I got to ask real quick because both in
I mean, that's just stupid. Because
no, but D-Mac, here's my point, D-Mac.
Who's in the lineup? Who's in the lineup? How many minutes you play?
It matters who you play with,
How effective are you?
D-Mac, it matters who you play with. You know it does. It matters who you play with.
I understand that. And I'm telling you, he will play better with Suter and Fabry than he will with Raymond and Larkin. You got to do not see the juice going in and why. It's how the pies are made, right? Because here's the thing. Zadina, to me, that tells me he's first power play. So he's second line, but first power play.
As long as that doesn't change.
See, because that's not.
I need my 5 power play goals from him minimum this year. 5.
Why?
Because
why
that's
not
what I
just
need.
20 goals? I don't get this that you have to have 5. What does 5 power play goals mean?
Because if he's playing the number one power play line all year.
But if he scores 20 goals and 19 of them are regular strength. Then he's obviously doing, because then that would be more. See, because power play goals sometimes that's not it's not a reflection on the type of game you played. If you look at the score sheet and see a guy's got 2 power play goals, he could have played garbage too. It's just the fact he's Johnny on the spot sitting in his right-hand shot.
I need him to be that dude, D-Mac, because that's what I was told. That's what I was told when he was drafted. I can't believe he fell. D-Mac, come on.
Who's telling you?
You know, because you had...
No, but tell me who's telling you, because that's the thing. Don't tell me what, tell me who.
Every Red Wing fan, every Red Wing writer, you,
who's every writer, donkey?
I can't believe Zadina fell to us. Okay. This is going to speed along the rebuild.
Time out. Before we go to break, thank you. Before we go to break, I have to ask. So in the 2019-2020 and also the 2018-2019 season, Bertuzzi scored 21 goals total. So my question to you is, D-Mac, minus the Canadian games, because he's taking those out because he doesn't want to do the vaccine, Will he reach that? What are the chances of him
He's got
getting
a
even
great
close?
chance of hitting 20 goals.
Okay.
No, I mean, he's great. You look at he hasn't played first game, and there's some rust and stuff like this, but, that's not Tyler Bertuzzi, 15, 20 goals on that, but it's the minutes and being effective. And does he see? I believe last year, him getting hurt after 5 games and Dylan Larkin getting hurt, but that's his jam. That's his go juice is to have them. It's like Mutt and Jeff, and you would think used to think it was Mantha, but no, because it's Bertuzzi, because it's that he's got the rat in that. And when Larkin's skating and Bertuzzi's hockey IQ is off the charts. That's the whole thing. You look at the kid and you can look through him. He's got that probey into outer space stare. But you know what? He knows where to be. He's a great hockey player. So it's guys like that can see. I'm not worried about Zadina as much as keeping Larkin healthy and keep it going, because once Larkin flies, they all fly with him. That's the whole thing. So I do believe. I believe that Bertuzzi could get 20. I believe that Zadina could get 20.
Well, here's some of the reaction too. Says Steve R says, "I'm going to listen to the guy with 4 Stanley Cups."
Thank you.
Well, okay. Well, can I talk now, D-Mac? Can I talk for a minute? Can I talk?
Yeah, but I just want to know
can
who's
I talk?
who.
Let me know when I can talk.
If you tell me
So
who's
not yet.
the who.
Okay. When Zadina was drafted, this town threw a celebration, the fact that he was available, and I couldn't believe everybody passed on him. And this is going to speed up the rebuild. That was the constant theme that I got. This guy's going to be a goal scorer, a big-time goal scorer. And make no mistake, for the Red Wings to be good, and this is Stevie Y's thing, and he constructed the Tampa Bay Lightning. 100% he constructed them. And I have blind faith in him. 100% have blind faith in him that he can do the same type of thing that Joe Dumars did when Joe Dumars came back here to be a GM. But I was told Zadina was going to speed this whole thing up, that he was going to score goals, and everybody threw a celebration party. Art, do you remember this when Zadina got drafted?
I do remember
You
that.
do remember.
Yeah,
we had a part.
Neil,
There was going to be a parade down Woodward.
Neil, can I ask
the fact that he was here.
Was it Zadina that didn't tell us that he was going to be that?
100%.
Okay,
Zadina,
so
and that was going to be my next point. He said it
right?
himself.
So he
said
started
it himself.
Right? He
Yes.
started it, right? And we wanted to believe in something or whatever. Well, now, right, with everything that's come into place because of whatever else is we're here today. So, kid, what I would say is that if this is you, then go show it, because now's the time. Now's the fly time. I got the clock of 34, right? The Zadina clock's up. The Larkin clock's up. Right?
We're going to talk about that when we come
these
back.
These clocks are up to that next level, and it's not only shot, but it's what I look for differently, right, than what most people, because it's stop points. And when you say, oh, they said this, they said that, yeah, you're right. He's supposed to be. Now it's his time to prove it.
Which
you
we'll
have
talk
to
about.
bring up the fact he's the first one out of his mouth that said that.
Right.
So if I come in and then say, I'm going to kick everybody's butt, right, like this, whatever, like this, well, why wouldn't you believe me when you understand? So now he's got to put his money where his mouth is.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll talk more about it when we come back. But I do want to remind you, we gonna see. I do want to remind you, Woodward Sports has you covered all day on Lions game days. Join Woodward Sports, DraftKings, Jose Cuervo, and WRIF for the Woodward Sports pregame show. And we will be out there live from the Tin Roof downtown from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Sunday against the Bengals. You can come on out, win great Woodward Sports prizes and more. And that broadcast will be available on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. We got you covered on the postgame as well from the Brass Rail. Brought to you by Woodward Sports and Jim Beam, starting at the 2-minute warning of every Lions game. Stick and Anson will be out there as well. Lions postgame show covering all the highlights, all the fan reactions from the Brass Rail downtown. Watch the game. Join in for the after party with a VIP area for Woodward Sports fans. There'll be pizza and more. The official postgame for Detroit football is at the Brass Rail.
Say something.
No, I was going to say, hey, first of all, Zadina's not an Yzerman guy, by the way.
He's not done yet.
You know what I'm saying? Like so he's giving him every chance that he can do. And you know what? It is, because you're not a hater. But you do. But I believe, and I'll say it, is that, yeah, is it outside mind that he's a bust? right? Yeah, it's coming into that. But here's the thing about hockey players. He's got a whole season to prove that he's not. And it doesn't matter what he's done before now. It's right now here because Stevie has chosen him to be on his team for whatever else. But you got to understand, he's not an Yzerman guy. When I said separate the Yzerman guy, because I think the Kaiser's one of the ones left. So that's all I had to say.
Absolutely. We'll be right back with more. Hold on, because we're not done with this discussion when we come back. This is Woodward Sports.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10.5 months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
Hire a graduate
of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Back at it here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neil Rule. D-Mac, Darren McCarty in the house as well. NHL season getting going tonight. Red Wings will be in action on Thursday as they will take on the Tampa Bay Lightning. But hey, if you want to scout them, they're playing tonight too. They're hosting the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Seattle Kraken will have their first game at Las Vegas tonight as well.
I have an update,
ESPN.
by the way, as to why the stadium isn't ready yet. That was
my
But Shaq did open a restaurant there, so in case you were wondering.
So the arena's not ready yet, but it's going to be in, what, a week?
Yeah, common sense ain't that common. That's just from what I saw from YouTube. So, believe everything that you see on YouTube.
I mean, they have builders that can get stadiums ready quickly, so it's not ready this week.
Yeah,
they
Bob
need
was
another
busy
week,
though,
and then build it up in the
Bob
boom.
was busy.
Get the building built.
Can he build it? Yes, he can, but
Yes,
apparently not in
he
time for
can.
the
Their
NHL
stadium
season.
got a renovation, and I think they're doing another renovation.
Who's that?
Liverpool, your team?
Oh, yeah.
At least sometimes they're your team.
No,
Sometimes
they're
you mow the lawn.
wait, what do you mean sometimes?
Because you mow the lawn during your team.
I listened to it on the I listened to the broadcast while I'm
Why
mowing the
you
lawn.
snitching,
I know, but
Fish?
just sit down, just 2 hours, just peace and quiet, and enjoy your team. That's all.
I do, but I'm mowing the lawn, being productive too, Fish.
Neil's got a life. He's got stuff that needs to get done, Fish.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but you do it around your team.
I do.
Not all of us can get up at 3 o'clock in the morning like you and watch a game and go back to sleep.
I
do.
actually only do that on Sundays. On Saturday, I got to stay up the whole 12 hours. So it sucks to be me, but what are you going to do?
Absolutely. As you said,
I do dread those 3 a.m. games I have to get up on Sunday. Like,
Okay,
really?
Fish, thank you.
on our YouTube message board, Knack says Neil Yzerman did not draft Zadina, which I understand, but he is here, and I was told that the goals were going to be a flowing. So that's my thing. And to me, he's kind of the quote-unquote face of this rebuild.
You better
Yes.
watch what you tell Neil. That's what I've learned, D-Mac. You got to watch what you tell him because that is his number one tool that he uses. That is just what I was told.
You have to be accountable for what comes out of your mouth.
That is true. Yes, that is very true.
Which brings me to my next point about the Red Wings. And we talk about Zadina, and you guys know where I stand. It's time. This is the make or break for Zadina. He played 70 games. He hasn't played a full NHL season, Zadina. I'm running hot right now, so maybe I'm compromised emotionally a little bit. But as I sit right now, this is a make or break. But there is no denying it. For Dylan Larkin, this is a make or break season for him, for me.
Right, and it's make or break. I think it's not just specifically stats, but here's the one thing too, Neil. Right? Have you thought about this? Pure goal scorers, right, are entertainers.
Which is why I like them.
COVID, little bit of fans, not a packed building. This is the first season back, LCA, that Zadina's been able to show his craft. So maybe he's just a little bit temperamental, sensitive artist that he's waiting for the people to come back, and he's going to put on a show this year.
And goal scorers are like that, D-Mac, you know.
Listen, I only bring this up, and I bring it up half-heartedly, but listen, goal scorers are temperamental, right? And they're like musicians a lot of times. So confidence is a huge thing.
They
in
need
hockey.
to be loved. The wind's got to be at their back.
That shit, but they get behind it. And here's the thing I love about Zadina, right? And until you watch him play, he works his butt off. He's always working. You know, trying to get that. Sometimes he presses a little bit too hard, wanted too hard. So hopefully he can get into a flow. But I believe that with goal scorers, they like to show off. So a loud LCA might happen.
No, Tammy Chin says this will be Zadina's season. Have faith, Neil. Okay, I do. Like I said, I'm cutting it. I'm cutting it this season, and D-Mac's gonna chime in officially. He said after Halloween.
Do the players know? Like we're talking about, like they've got to know this is their year. They have to make it happen.
I think Dylan Larkin knows because that contract's up after next year.
Well, and that's the thing too. Whether you're a hometown boy or not,
Do you think that
you don't think his time's up?
He ain't thinking money at all. Not a kid from Waterford. Not the captain of the Wings that's doing something he's wanted to do as a kid. He knows he takes the thing about Dylan Larkin is he puts enough pressure on himself. It's the fact is when he gives himself that break, he's got to stay healthy, but he's got to lead this team. We got to look at him leading.
But D-Mac, to lead this team, they have to score goals this year. I mean,
right.
they have to score goals.
Yes, and that's why the power play and bringing in Alex Tanguay, which will mitigate and ease off everything we're talking about for the Larkins, for the Zadinas, right? Everything we're talking about is putting the puck in the net and the goal scorers and the points and the guys who are going to step up and do that, right? And I'm telling you, things are being put in place, not only just players, but with the systems, and that's why the power play has impressed me. Now, we haven't even talked about D or talked about the goalies. We mentioned them, but yeah, he knows it is, but it's one of these things is, man, we knew that 96, 97, I mean, all those years that the pressure was on and stuff, but you got to embrace it. You got to just put it behind you and say, I'm here for a reason.
Yeah.
Take it to the next level. And then that's what these guys are going to try to do because they can't do it alone. They got to do it together. And when they figure it out, it's going to be beautiful. So I don't know when, but it's shaping up because I can see it because I remember. And it's just like it used to be. So start plugging and play to what you see. Nick
Burke says no one said Zadina was going to speed up the rebuild. That's if you were on social media that night, yes, that's all people talked about. Art's even nodding his head.
Yeah, I gotta agree. That was the narrative.
That was exactly
that's because he dropped, and that's because he came out and he was bitter, and he said that in his attitude, and we loved it and stuff like this. So I love that attitude. Can you imagine if Philip Zadina, 30 goal scorer, 25, 30 goal scorer, having confidence being that way? It's phenomenal. That's what we need.
Drew Hartman says if Dylan Larkin doesn't perform this season, he should be out. He's had enough time and hasn't shown up since his rookie season. And that's, Drew, to me, that's my point. It is a make or break year for Dylan Larkin. Maybe less for Zadina, but very much so for Dylan Larkin.
Come on, he had 32 goals in 2018, 2019.
He did.
And then afterwards 19 and then 9 last year. So it's like, what value do we see in him as being more than a goal scorer?
He's healthy.
Right, but you have to be more than just a goal scorer.
Right, and he knows that. And D-Mac talked about that, how he feels that pressure to lead, which I understand, certainly. He's the captain of the Detroit Red Wings.
Exactly.
We know that lineage. We know what that entails. But with all that being said, you're getting to that, and while he may not be thinking about it, D-Mac,
he's not thinking about the contract.
I know management is.
Oh, absolutely.
You know management is. That's what they do. That's their job.
Because that's what's the most beautiful thing that we're not talking about. We're talking about players and development is the contract situations and the cap availability, because we're going to have a conversation here going, oh, we could get this guy, and we could get this guy, and we could get this guy, and probably in 2 years at this time, it's back to being like 96, 7, where guys say, hey, is Detroit calling? Is Detroit calling? What's Detroit got to say? Hey, agent, call Steve Yzerman. See what he's doing. Think we can end up there? Be more of a destination. That's what they're setting it up to be. So this enables these guys right now to make their mark and put themselves in a spot to be there.
Chuck says, can you imagine Neil after the losses leading up to the Stanley Cup run? Yeah, I can tell you about it real quick, Chuck. Steve Yzerman was out there as the third best player on the planet. That's what it was. And then Sergei Fedorov was a league MVP. That's what it was. And then the pieces all were added from there. But the common denominator through all that in the beginning and the run-up to everything is that Steve Yzerman was the third best player on planet Earth. And I didn't have to wonder that. I didn't have to think or project or say...
It's not what you think, it's what you know.
Yeah, I didn't have to sit there and think, wow, maybe this will be the year that Steve Yzerman gets it together. No, he walked on the ice and dominated from 1983 on. Like, that's what he did. There were no questions with him. I didn't have to sit there with Darren McCarty and go, well, you'll see, if some things are right. No, he dominated from beginning to end all the time. And he put a franchise on his back. his back, he put that franchise on there and brought them from a franchise that had to give away cars to get people to go to games to being within earshot of the Edmonton Oilers dynasty. That's what he did. That's what Steve Yzerman did. I didn't have to wonder.
Let him know, Neil.
I knew. I saw. Check the stats if you don't believe me. Look at those numbers he put up. There were no questions about him. So, yeah, imagine me with the Red Wings with the losses leading up to the Cup runs. Yeah, I just told you. You don't have to imagine it. I knew.
Listen, if you want to know about knowing, not thinking, but knowing, I can tell you where there's a good place to get a haircut. And that place would be Lady Jane's. I'm due for a haircut, and the great, wonderful people here like Alyssa and Melissa and everyone else. So awesome here when it comes to getting your hair done, because you walk in, you sign in, you sit down, you get your haircut. They've got the little TVs and the mirrors. You can watch them. So if you're like one of those people where you're like, I'm focused on the game, Chief. I can't talk to you about my life. I don't need a therapy session. I want to watch the game. The wonderful ladies here at Lady James, they love that. They just want to get your haircut done, making you look wicked awesome. You could walk in, sign up, sit down, get your haircut, because at Lady Jane's, it is wicked awesome. 10 to 8, 7 days a week, Lady Jane's. We got more Big D Energy right here on the Woodward Sports Network.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
Neil Rule here for Legacy Partners. When you watch the games, you're bombarded by insurance ads promising to save you money. But if you really want to save money, you need our new sponsor, Legacy Partners Insurance. They're independent. This is a pretty simple process, folks. They're independent. They shop between 7 to 10 carriers for your insurance. And you know what it is. It's going to find you the best deal. Let's be honest about it. You don't just buy the first car you see. You take a look around. Do it with your insurance as well. Here's what you got to do. Call 586-209-4106. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you. Just for getting a quote, tell them Neil Rule sent you. You'll be put in a drawing for a $50 gift card. If you're looking for insurance right now, call or go to LegacyPartnersINS.com/Woodward. That's one more time, LegacyPartnersINS, which is short for insurance, folks. We can figure this out. LegacyPartnersINS.com/Woodward today. Oh, hi. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. How are you? Neil Rule here. Darren McCarty.
Thank you, D-Mac, for sticking up for me in the chat. It's that dang Alex Mayer. He just doesn't know when to stop. I appreciate you.
Told him to go eat a bag of donuts.
That's right, a big old bag.
Happy to have you with
donuts.
us. But you know, that was a good lead-in, and Chuck had a response there. He asked me, you know, if you guys are just joining us, he said, I wonder what Neil was like with the losing. So I informed you as to what I was like, and Chuck said, okay, fair. I think I laid that down pretty well, D-Mac. The point of the story is, and this is big, and I'm going to continue the Wings discussion here for one more segment.
Because, you know, Chuck also said, I had a lot of friends that were saying Stevie was never going to win anything. We knew. Till the grind line showed up. There you go. So, I mean, we all know. I'm just saying.
It's not what we think.
It's not what we think. It's what we know. And we always say, that was always the joke, right? Coming back in 08 when I was talking, Kenny come back, and I said, well, you know you haven't won a cup without me in the lineup since 55, right? So, I mean, you might as well put me back, and it worked. So. That's what we're hoping for Keenan Draper to make his way through the Red Wing organization, and then they'll be ready to win.
And fulfill that prophecy.
But it all works. But that's the same sort of thing. And here's the difference, Neil. You had Steve Yzerman, the third best player in the league, on the planet, and then realized that being the third best player on the planet isn't going to get him gold. So when Scotty comes in and he realizes maybe I'll be the 10th best player on the planet and be an all-around guy and have a Sergei Fedorov and let him shine. And the greatest thing was my first year, Stevie gets hurt, Sergei wins the MVP, but he stepped up. Sergei took it over. And right then and there, it proved that you had a 1 and 1A, but you had Stevie who could take care of all the rest of the things. That's where we're looking to Dylan to grow, to take care of the rest of things, but not affecting his game. And then if he can be that Yzerman type leader, which he's trying to show him that he can put the puck in the net and stay healthy, then we're further along, and it's more of an Yzerman from the mid-'90s than it is the Yzerman from the late 80s.
Nick says, I'm okay with Larkin not being the guy and being the cap as long as he's not getting paid like the guy and he makes people around him better on and off the ice. But Nick, those things are not mutually exclusive. As far as Dylan Larkin, who will be a free agent going on 27 years old, that's, DMAC, that's the prime time.
Here's the beauty. The beauty is what Steve Yzerman does is show me, get rewarded. Here it is, the opportunity. Everybody's got the opportunity. The chest is there. So go out and earn that contract. Go out and earn that money. Go out and prove that you deserve it, and then you will get it. Don't, and then he's got decisions to make. But it's still hashtag Weiser plan.
No, it absolutely is. And
hang on, I've got to give you credit because you're getting wally-womped in the chat right now, and they're saying, like, why would you go up against You're holding your own, and I have to give you props. If no one else will in this building, I will, because you're making good points.
Holding his own to his opinion. No, I mean, but here's the thing, but I'm saying is that he's bringing up the devil's advocate to everything else in the history of what he went through or what he recalls. That's Neil's truth, right? My truth is different because we see it differently. My love for the Wings and everybody else's love for the Wings is no greater. It's different. We have different perspective of how we saw it, what we felt, what idiots were. I was hanging out with the bar and from 2009 to 2015 that wouldn't get it, that you hear it all the time, to people that actually want to learn and want to know.
But here's my thing, though.
And it's a different insight. So everything you're saying is conversation to going out.
Yeah.
But again, to me, it's not real.
But here's
I know it's real.
But here's my thing. We have someone that we can trust, and I think that's the difference. When you look at the Lions organization, we don't know Dan Campbell and what he's capable of other than up until now. We have the Weiser plan. So my thing is this. I have not heard either one of you say a year. But with the Lions, it's 2023. And you're not talking about the Lions getting into Super Bowl area in 2023. You're talking about them being great. So with the Wings, you don't need a year because you're seeing the vision now.
Being great, we're talking about being competitive.
Right, but I mean, we have the pieces, it seems.
Watchable instead of, what are we watching for? Right now it's like, what are we looking for to watch in 2023?
But now it seems as though more than ever, we do have those pieces. It's just, can they perform like they have in 2018, 2019? Like Bertuzzi, like Larkin. And then you have the new additions that you hope can put on what they're saying they can put on. So it's different from the Lions 2023 because we're at the point now to where we have our building blocks in place. Yeah.
Look at the rosters. The Red Wings have talent.
Yeah.
They do. They have talent, and wherever they're limited, they're not as limited as they used to be.
We suspect they have talent. We suspect. No,
they have talent, and which
DMAC. I mean,
we know that they have talent.
We're sitting here talking about.
Are you saying that I'm comparing them to the Lions roster?
Oh yeah, of course.
That's what I'm saying is the difference is compared to the Lions roster.
We don't suspect if the Lions.
That's what I'm saying is that when you're looking at what you have, is that now that's why you can go down because everybody's. And I'm saying not everybody's going to be here when it's time to make that turn, but I think you have more guys that probably will be, then what do you have on the Lions? Like, it's the talent. Like, that's the difference why they're watchable. Why I asked you more watchable now. Wings are, because we're not watching to see what we're watching for, we might be watching what is going to be, right?
Sure. No, you are right.
This ain't the guys that are going to be winning the Super Bowl for the Lions.
No.
Maybe there's one. Maybe Derek Barnes and
maybe there's four.
Maybe there's one or two. But this Wings team, there could be 8 of them.
Yeah. But that's what makes me excited because we have the Bertuzzis, we have the Larkins that, sure, he may be on notice, but he's Waterford's own. He's going to make it happen this year, I believe. I'm aboard the Red Wings hype train way more than the Lions one. I'm not going to say Stanley Cup. I'm already getting a Lions tattoo. I don't need a Red Wings one on the other knee.
Listen, I don't know. We're going to have to... I'm going to have to go through security and everything with that. We're going to go through a full... Art, you might have to go into the back room, in the downstairs back room that they take all the bad people at LCA.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might have to get that examination just because I don't know if they're going to allow you on the Red Wing train after what you did with that Lions limo.
Well, and we all can agree, though. This is probably the most confident that we've been in the Red Wings for the past couple years. Yes? No?
We're confident. Here's the confidence. Confidence in going to the game and actually watching and being excited. How much confidence is that? That's nothing about the playoffs. Like, oh, my God. Confident in actually staying for a game and watching and not being there going, man, this is gross. Or this is just, it's mundane. It's going to be exciting because now at least you can watch different players. They're going to be putting it together. And again, October 30th.
We'll talk about it on
Thursday, but
we're going to have a Zadina summit.
The summit.
We're going to have a Zadina summit. Yeah.
All right, we need a graphic. Zadina summit.
Zadina summit.
Right, October 30th.
I got you.
Every 30th we'll have a summit.
We'll have
break
a
down the
Zadina
stats.
summit. Yeah. We will, and we'll have to break it all down. Steve on our YouTube chat thread says that Art must want something from Neil. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
No,
later.
I don't want anything from you. I think that it takes a certain person to be able to go up against a 4-time Stanley Cup champ and actually hold an argument, and I respect that.
Well, because I'm coming with facts. What do you got, Fish?
You're gonna have to postpone your October 30 because that's a Saturday. So either 29.
Okay, we'll reconvene on that Monday.
Okay, cool. Well,
literal Fish in the building.
Unless you were thinking about meeting on Saturday. Unless you were thinking of meeting on Saturday.
Will that be adequate?
No, that will be adequate.
November 1st.
That will be adequate. Thanks, Fish, for just,
Thanks, Fish.
I just wanted to make sure you guys knew. I didn't know if there was a show on Saturday I didn't know about.
Yeah, Neil's going to come in just on Saturday. He'll be the only one here.
I did come in and do the We Are Soccer show here on Woodward Sports
on
before.
Saturday, bro.
I'm going to sit here and mix it up with D-Mac because my check's going to clear. You know what I'm saying?
I want to hear Joik's reasoning as to how far the Red Wings are going.
I don't know. We can talk to Joik.
Yeah. What do we got here?
Go to the couch.
Oh, sorry.
E. Schaefer says, I really like Dylan, but he needs to put it in gear. I know it's been rough, but it's a new day, and everybody needs to step it up, said with love. And E, like that's where I am. People are talking like I don't want him to succeed. Yeah, I want him to succeed. Of course I do. But the difference is there's a huge financial decision that's going to be made with Dylan Larkin at the end of next year. Period. Factual statement. Check his contract. Oh, I had it right in front of me. He's a free agent when he's 27. The prime contract, the big contract that you're going to sign for your career to set you up financially for the rest of your life. That's going to be the big decision, not only for Dylan Larkin, but for Steve Yzerman and the Red Wings management. And I will say this, even Steven Stamkos, Steve Yzerman has shown he's not handing out candy the same way that Ken Holland was in the salary cap era. And I know, D-Mac, I apologize if that makes you uncomfortable or anybody else around here. But
I was part of the trick-or-treaters.
Yeah.
I'm good, bro.
Oh, my God. That's the greatest thing I've ever heard. That's the greatest thing I ever heard. Hold on. I'm staggered. Hold on.
See, no offense taken. I mean... it made it easier when I'm making $2.5 million to get bought out.
No, but the Franz Nielsen type deals and the Johan Franzen.
I never got that candy.
Yeah,
I earned my candy.
The Johan Franzens over Marian Hosas and the
he
Franz
was just giving
Nielsen
out
contracts.
like full chocolate bars.
Yeah,
full chocolate bars.
The man showed, and he was the architect behind all the Stanley Cups. That's a factual statement. He did it, and people that want to condemn Phil Jackson for winning championships, it still takes a talent to be able to manage all that. And Ken Holland did go out and do it. You can say what you want about how he did it, but he did go out and do it. And the bottom line is this. When the salary cap came into play, he gave out contracts like candy that aided in the destruction of the franchise. They did. Go look up the deals. Look at the Franz Nielsen deal and get back to me.
Forget, it didn't start. This is where it started, right? And hindsight's 20/20. There was a decision to make, and you reach a fork in the road. And you brought up Steven Stamkos, and we know when his contract came up, Stevie took a long time negotiating that before he gave him the deal in Tampa Bay, right? Marian Hossa, Johan Franzen, right? 2009.
Yep.
Who are you giving the money to, right? The mule coming off whatever else. Now, unfortunately, we see give Franzen the money, the contract, Hossa leaves. If they were switched, then you miss. You miss on your Tarquist, which is Tatar and Nyquist. You miss on your Nielsen, your Weiss. You compound it, and then it gets out of control, and that's why Stevie had to clean it up. That's why Thursday, when we go through it, I'm just going to show you a list of Yzerman guys and a list of Holland guys. So the thing is to clean it up. When you bring up the biggest point you bring up, and I know this for a fact, I don't need to know what's going to happen, but I know that you're thinking ahead to 2 years with the $45 million. Stevie's thinking beyond that.
Right.
He's already got it played out who he wants to go. This is how prepared these guys are. When I say the Detroit Red Wings will get back to where they were, it's not when, it's when. And it's not because of the pedigree of the organization. It's because of the work ethic. And because all these things are already in play. I guarantee you walk in his office and he's got code into whatever this wish list. That's how played out it is. But in saying that, Neil, it's not making – a lot of times people in sports make a decision on a guy's past performance. He's given all these guys to set it up an opportunity to go earn that next big contract. Go out and show me. Are you going to be here? If not, boom. Because that's the brilliance. He can cut. He's not committed to anybody.
Yeah, and even then, D-Mac, he's shown the ability to with Stamkos, right? If anybody in the world deserved the candy, it was Stamkos. And even Stamkos walked away with an 8-year, $68 million. It wasn't some crazy franchise decimating
that's not
deal.
8 years, but it's Ray and obviously 2 cups and what he did. And that's Steven Stamkos, right? The captain of the back-to-back Stanley Cup champions.
Yeah.
So it's one of these things that the thought process. And we're thinking about this, right? And we're only thinking we're going like 2 feet down. These guys are it's like Oak Island. These guys are drilling for the money pit, way the hell down there. They're 150 feet down, right? Because they know to their plan, not ours. I'm just trying to let you in behind because I've been there.
Yeah, and
Thursday. I've eaten the Halloween candy.
you got that kid. D-Mac, I've known you a long time, man. That's the funniest thing you've ever said to me.
Let's just see if the fellas can clip that pretty good. And we'll see if we can get it to zizzle.
But speaking of pretty good, this week's edition of high school football on Woodward Sports Network is more than pretty good. This is one of those red letter games.
Isn't this a Detroit doozy?
It is a Detroit doozy. Every Friday we broadcast one of the best games in high school football in Metro Detroit on the Woodward Sports Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. This Friday, 9 o'clock. Woodward Sports, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. The PSL Championship, Cass Tech versus King. Brought to you by Woodward Sports, Planet Fitness, and The Prep. 9 o'clock, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Showcase the best high school matchups all over Metro Detroit. I will pull up on that matchup on the Woodward Sports Facebook. That's Friday night.
What time?
9 o'clock. On the
Wow.
I will be sliding through. There is no doubt about that. That's high-level high school football. Cass Tech and King. Lots of Division I players on that field. Make sure you do not miss that. We'll be back with more Big D.
Big D.
Big D Energy, Woodward Sports.
Big D.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Papa Romano's has a pizza that is pleased to meet you. The Mizza Pizza is a sizzling deal and fully loaded with pepperoni, ham, Italian sausage, ground beef, and bacon. Get a large Mizza Pizza for $16.99 at paparomanos.com.
Back out of here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neil Rule, D-Mac, Darren McCarty, some spirited NHL discussion. Make sure you tune in on Thursday. That's when D-Mac's going to get in the nuts and bolts of the roster. We're going to do a deep dive into this Red Wings team. I'm sure to devolve into the whole Zadina, me fighting you guys in the chat thread, everyone taking up for D-Mac. But, I'm sure that's the way it will be, even though I am speaking in fact. That's cool. No, hey, that's what it is.
Both things can be true.
Both things can be true. But I did want to reset the baseball that went on yesterday.
Wow.
The Braves beat the Brewers. They took a 2-1 series lead in their best of 3. They'll be playing Game 4 today at 5 o'clock. The Giants beat the Dodgers 1-0 last night. Max Scherzer had 10 strikeouts.
Evan Longoria
made one mistake to Evan Longoria, and they lost. And now they're facing elimination. I wasn't buying the Giants. I mean, they win 100 and they won 100 million games this year. I still wasn't a believer, man. But if they skate the Dodgers, if they knock the Dodgers out, man,
but and knock them out going through Max Scherzer twice,
going through his best. Going through his best. He wasn't like he was off or anything like that. No,
he was on. He was off first game. He was on last night. Yep. But, I mean, that's baseball. You look at also, too, Jock Peterson, who went over from the Dodgers to the Braves at the 3-run shot there. They're up. And then you look at I was watching the Maz always has Bo Sucks on here.
Yeah, you can tell Maz Princess right? The Bo Sucks.
But the Sox were up early. Rafael Devers took a yard. They were in control, and then the Rays just keep fighting back. And but again, another walk-off, back-to-back walk-off wins for Boston, so they win their series. Astros and Shy Sox. That's been a good series. They got game 4 tonight. Houston leads that 2-1. So, yeah, I watched a bunch of both of the games, not all of them, but stuff like that. But there's some good baseball going on if you're a baseball fan. But it just doesn't seem the juice. You know what I mean? The
I get
juice
what
doesn't
you're saying.
seem there, and I'm a baseball fan.
So am I. And I haven't checked in as much as I usually do. I was really pulling for the Rays to win that series. There's an Oakland connection with the Rays, and Mike Brasso played baseball at Oakland. He was with the Rays last year. He hit that home run against Soriano and the Yankees to win the game, so that was a lot of fun. But I was pulling for the Rays, but they didn't get it done.
Might be the last time you see them.
Well, we say that every year, and then there they are with their $40 million. They have a $40 million payroll.
Yeah, but they might move.
Well, they're gonna split time, right? Like they're gonna be snowbirds, where they'll go to Montreal, play half the season in Montreal, dumbest thing ever.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it's smart.
Stupid.
I think it's for that organization that draws 6,000 fans a game to do whatever like that.
Then just go to Montreal. Just go.
I get it, but if you can work it both ways instead of... Yeah, I don't have to play there. But
maybe it's a long game where you do it for a season, and then there's 38,000 at every Expos game in Montreal, which they should be the Expos when they play in Montreal, and then be the Rays when they come back.
And they should have the old Expos jerseys.
100%.
Supposedly they had a banner in the back of the Rays stadium, basically kind of hinting at people to support their move to Montreal, because the Tampa Bay president came out on Friday saying that it's near impossible to support full season home games in Tampa. And when your president's coming out and saying that,
the writing's on the wall. I do wonder about that if it's a long play where they can say, it'd be a very Neil type move, wouldn't it, to say, all right, we'll split it. We'll play half the season in Montreal, half the season in Tampa. We're getting 38,000 a game in Montreal. We're getting 8,000 a game in Tampa. Well, see you later. We're going to Montreal. Here's the data. Just peace out,
What was that again, Neil? How did you do it? How'd it go?
That was a good one.
Hey!
But that's the thing. I think that my thing would be if you do it for a season or figure out if it draws how much fandom. Where's the fandom, right?
Yeah.
It's not like baseball's bleeding over fandom right now. So if there's a market,
I wonder how much football has to do with it, because the ratings are high for these football games again, and it's something where it's got to come from somewhere, right? Like the amount of people that watch sports are the amount of people that watch sports for the most part,
right?
And that pie gets chopped up however the way it gets chopped up, and more that piece of football pie is getting bigger at the expense of what? And it looks like it's at the expense of baseball. And I think there's a multitude of reasons for that. You guys have heard me. Huge baseball guy. D-Mac. Huge baseball guy. But the fact of the matter is, and I'll just run through this real quick because you probably heard me say this before, I'm not giving you 4 hours, man.
Right.
I'm not doing it. I'm not taking my kids down there. So you expect me to, the average person's, 30 minutes from the ballpark, 45 minutes from the ballpark, wherever it is, if you live in the suburbs or whatever. You can't expect me to do that. Bring the kids down there, sit through a 4-hour game, come back. I'm not even talking about the prices. A baseball, I think people grossly over-report how much it costs to go to a game and stuff like that. Is it expensive? Yeah, it can be expensive if you want it to be expensive.
Well, for Art, when you got 11 kids.
Yeah.
You know how many hot dogs that is?
You got to remortgage you got to do a remortgage, a refi to go ahead and do that. But it's the time thing for me. And I think that's why you're seeing a rise in college softball ratings, because those games are over in under 2 hours. There's a time certainty. I think that's why soccer ratings are going up. Game's over in 90 minutes plus the halftime. 2 hours, it's over, period. So,
that's why Fish is grinding your gears about not giving Liverpool their time, because it's just a standard amount of time.
Yeah.
It's not like Neil. I'm saying that just 2 hours.
Yeah, it takes me about 2 hours to mow the lawn.
20 minutes. I'm saying you really can't cut out a 2 hour time period. Got your back, Fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
You got it.
I just feel so. You talk about baseball being long. College football is getting longer and longer.
It is.
We're seeing 4-hour games.
It is.
Is the difference football versus baseball in terms of action?
Yeah, it's the action. It's the stimulation. I mean, my kids will not watch baseball.
Because college football, most people go out at 9 o'clock for like a 3:30 game. So you got 4 hours of tailgating, then the game. Then some people will decide to do a post game wherever. I mean, that's a 12-hour day.
Sure, it is, but there's action to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
My
There's
kids
action.
My kids will not watch baseball, Fish. They won't
Have
watch
they gone to a baseball game?
Yeah, we go to baseball games, but we're not going to sit there and watch it, man. And they won't even watch a regular football game, but they're all about the red zone.
Love the red zone.
They love the red zone, man, because that's the world we've created for them.
It's action. It's now, me. I mean, it's the same thing. I think that's, a lot of times that's why, like, wrestling and different things like that, the action, there's always something going on, the entertainment. It's not about pile driving a guy or body slamming, but there's a story that goes into it, and you can get enthralled into it. And there's something about the action, about being able to see all these different things going on. With baseball, there's one ball, right? You follow the ball, it gets pitched, it's back. At least football, there's guys running around, there's tackles, there's hits, there's stuff like this. Car crash. That's why hockey's the best live, right? You go to a live hockey game, and they're usually consistent unless it's a playoff game and we're playing out west and we go 4 or 5 overtimes.
Well, the thing too with the hockey is hockey's one of those games where the TV doesn't do it justice, and that's what makes me sad for hockey is television doesn't do hockey justice.
But you know what? ESPN will.
ESPN will.
So
I'm fired up for it tonight.
If any television can do hockey justice, ESPN, because maybe it'll get people out to a game. But I just hope that the love, the understanding, because the game's changed, but you can enjoy the game. You just gotta know how you're watching it. It's like you can watch an arena football game or an indoor soccer game or a Canadian Football League game. By the way, great call yesterday.
I gave you guys a little winner there during the day on Canadian Thanksgiving.
There were a bunch of good games yesterday. I was pleasantly happy with how it went.
Ottawa with the point certainly came through for you.
And you know what, Neil? Here's the thing. With you giving us all these get-right specials and all these free picks and this money, what do you do with all your money and especially at home? Do you have an alarm system?
Well, you know what you could say? You could say that I'm people's guardian when it comes to the picks.
Ooh, that was good. That was good. The people's guardian. I like that. Guardian alarm gets it. Good defense on and off the field is so important. And why are you waiting? If your house gets robbed, you don't even know because you're at work. That's why you got to trust Guardian Alarm. They are the local security experts. They also have convenient features that let you check it on your home. So if you're at work, you're looking at your phone, you can check out the control lights and temperatures. You could also detect smoke or carbon monoxide. You can even lock and unlock the doors. So if you're on your way to Planet Fitness and you got to get going, Neil's got to get those miles in. He forgets to lock his door. Guardian Alarm. Boom. You press the button. It's done. All you got to do is call the number. Fish, I need a little bit of help today. The number is 1-800.
Stay out.
That is 1-800.
Stay out.
One more time for the people in the back. 1-800.
Stay out.
Thank you. Guardian Alarm, a trusted source for over 90 years at keeping families safe. We got more Big D energy right here on the Woodward Sports Network. 1-800.
Stay out.
A little late on that one.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
You know why realtors love using Hall Financial as a lender? Because of our commitment to speed and service. We have nearly 4,000 five-star reviews already. Call today, 248-308-5000 or go to callhallfirst.com.
Start a career in an industry that is always essential, the heating and cooling industry. Actually, where Darren McCarty got his work ethic from. The heating and cooling industry. Learn more today by visiting northwesterntech.edu. Tell them Big D Energy sent ya.
Final segment of the show, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Every time you read that Northwestern Tech ad, I always think about that, man. The heating and cooling, man. You can line up a great career doing heating and cooling. Dude.
Oh, absolutely.
Great career.
Right, by choice. And there's so many different ways. I mean, I'm a little bit, I'm like art and the negative because it was a business that I couldn't quit and couldn't get fired from, but I was also the smallest one, so I had to run all the duct work underneath the old houses and
climb under
digging
there.
the hole. I was,
but you get paid accordingly.
Yeah, $4 an hour because it's a family job. You know what I'm saying? Gosh darn it, man! I mean, like seriously.
Hey, your pops is making more than that, though.
Listen, it worked out. I got him back with sticks and skates and all that stuff. So, listen, Craig McCarty, shout out to you. Thanks for the work ethic. But
there
what a
you
great!
go.
I can't. And you know what the funny thing is? Both my uncles worked there, so it was like more of like the family aspect and stuff.
Yeah.
And they still do. My uncle Randy's still air conditioning tech to the day.
Yeah, absolutely. But I did want to talk about this. And look, we had this little cute bit, this quarterback bit that we were going to talk about, but. Drew Hartman, thanks for your comments on the YouTube chat there because you just set up the last segment for us. And this is key because this is something I talked about for a long time. This is something when Darren McCarty and I were together in a past radio life, one of the best segments of shows we ever did. It didn't get as heated as the Zadina thing, but still, I was right, and DMAC knew I was right. Drew Hartman said, ESPN better do hockey well. I'm nervous since ESPN has had little respect for hockey over the years. And I'm excited for hockey to be back. And look, I'll be the first one to tell you, I don't get as deep into hockey as I used to back in the day. When you work in this industry, doing play-by-play, and I'm a college basketball announcer. I fill in for the Pistons radio network too. It's just, I'm so basketball intensive because there's a lot of games and traveling with the team and all that stuff. And I'm sad that hockey is the thing that I kind of put on the back burner for me as a sports fan. And what Drew is saying is true. ESPN has had little respect for it. But you got to remember, too, what ESPN's a business. And it wasn't their product. So, yeah, why would they give shine to something that you can't watch on ESPN? But now it is their product. And DMAC is beyond pumped for this. I'm excited, too. And I know Art is because the little nugget that you get with ESPN and NHL now, you remember the center ice package?
Yeah.
That's all a part of ESPN Plus now.
I'm telling you, ESPN Plus is the future. And I'm not saying that as like an ESPN Plus shill. Like, I really do believe in it because it's just like Amazon with Thursday Night Football. I mean, it's as simple as that, so.
But it's totally right. And I think in the past is you got to look is how, times have changed. And it looks like ESPN and ESPN Plus, whoever's in charge there, realize that they're going to take more precipice like they did with UFC. And there's something there for the fan, or at least to see, right? What happened with the league and ESPN was Gary Bettman, was like, oh, we're bigger than this or whatever. And then when it came to contract negotiations, ESPN, like you said, is a business and moved elsewhere. I think that the growth of different things are where we're at with the streaming industry, with all this, with the Kraken starting, with the team in Vegas, with the way hockey is. This is the perfect storm. And hopefully it brings that hockey fandom like yourself watching it back. One of the greatest things is to have Gary Thorne, ESPN, make the call on my goal. You know what I'm saying?
Iconic,
that when we watch the Stanley Cup from '97 and the ESPN Open, and it's just the way they do things, and that's the production. And to the point that what you're saying about being a shill is call it like you see it. ESPN does some of the greatest things. Those 30 for 30s are phenomenal. You've educated and learned more on different things. So hopefully and you nailed it, Neil. Now that they are invested into the product and they're going to be partnership, hopefully that it helps both of them and it does something for hockey that it did for UFC.
And again, $6.99 a month is a steal.
Absolutely.
For what ESPN Plus offers. And again, I don't just say it because I call games on ESPN Plus. I don't just
yes,
say it
you
like
do.
that. Yeah, 100%. You're a self-promoter. No, it's just for me, who's a sports fan. I don't watch shows. I don't watch it. I don't watch game shows or anything like that. I don't watch a Bachelorette. I just watch sports. That's all I do. It's what I've based my life on. It's how I make my living. But for me, there is always a game of some sort on there, and that's why I like it. And I think $6.99 a month is an incredible value. And if you're a hockey fan, it's a must purchase now. A must purchase.
Absolutely.
And my question is, for the people out there, the Red Wings fans, are you guys going to watch tonight? And I know that's an old bit, right? Where they'd say we're not hockey town, we're Red Wing town, and if the Red Wings aren't playing, then fans here aren't going to watch hockey. I'm trying to gauge the excitement level for hockey being back tonight nationally. You going to watch tonight, D-Mac?
You know what? I'll throw the first game on, but I'm definitely going to throw the Seattle game on, just because it's history.
Yeah.
Yep.
See the jerseys and all that.
Yeah, just to see, welcome another team in, somebody to thank me for retiring so they can win, that stuff.
Yep, absolutely. That's what Drew says. Seattle should be excited as I am to see the Kraken tonight. I could not be more pumped for the Seattle Kraken team. Great for the NHL. Good show today, man.
Yeah, great show, bud.
Yeah, absolutely. Good running. Tomorrow, Joik will be back in the house, as will myself, as well D-Mac. Big thanks to Fish and Art for all of their work. And most of all, you, the listeners, the watchers, everybody, we appreciate you all. We'll see you again tomorrow for another episode of Big D Energy on the Woodward Sports Network. Well, see you later.
Deuces.